Ji'bafofi, the jungle sacrifice. Night had fallen, and we could go no further. Exhausted, battered, and teetering on the edge of collapse, we stumbled into a small village nestled deep within the jungle. The villagers, a quiet and watchful group, emerged from their huts, their faces lit by the flickering glow of firelight. They didn't speak much, only motioned for us to follow. Too tired to question their intent, we obliged. They led us to a large communal hut, where a feast was already laid out, bowls of steaming stew, roasted meats, and fruits so ripe they seemed to bleed sweetness. We ate hungrily, our fears momentarily dulled by the promise of food and shelter. But as the night wore on, something began to feel wrong. Even after we pushed our plates away, signaling that we were full, the villagers kept bringing more food. Their faces, once stoic, now bore unsettling smiles, wide and unnatural, their teeth glinting in the dim light. "Really, we're good," Derek said, trying to wave them off. But they didn't listen. They just stood there, watching us, their eyes glinting with something unreadable. "You must eat," one of them finally said, his voice low and gravelly. "You'll need your strength."
For what?
The man didn't answer. Instead, he motioned for us to eat again. The air grew heavy, the once comforting warmth of the fire now oppressive. That's when we noticed it. The other villagers, those who hadn't brought us food, were standing in the shadows watching. Silent. Still. Their eyes never left us. A sense of unease rippled through our group. We exchanged nervous glances, our earlier fatigue now replaced by a growing dread.
"They're fattening us up."
For what?
Before anyone could answer, a sudden, guttural cry rang out from the jungle. The villagers froze, their smiles vanishing. They turned as one, their heads snapping toward the sound. It was the Ji'bafofi. The villagers began to chant, a low, rhythmic murmur that grew louder with each passing second. They lit more torches, their flames casting eerie shadows that danced along the walls of the hut.
"You are the offering," the old man said finally, his eyes locking onto mine. "The Ji'bafofi must be fed, or it will take us all."
Panic set in. We bolted for the door, but the villagers were faster. They blocked our path, their grip like iron.
"You cannot leave," another villager said, his voice cold. "It is the only way."
Outside, the jungle seemed to come alive. The cries of the Ji'bafofi grew closer, louder. The ground trembled beneath its approach. We fought, kicking and screaming, but the villagers held firm. They dragged us toward the edge of the village, where a massive, ancient stone altar stood. Thick strands of webbing clung to its surface, shimmering in the moonlight. "You don't have to do this," Claire shouted, her voice breaking. But the villagers didn't respond. They began to tie us down, their chants rising to a fever pitch.
In the depths of the jungle, the weary exploration group stumbled into a village that seems welcoming but sinister, as they realize too late that they are intended as a sacrifice to a lurking horror, the Ji'bafofi. The Ji'bafofi emerged from the darkness, its enormous form silhouetted against the night sky. Its eyes, those cold, merciless orbs, fixed on them. The villagers fell to their knees, bowing before the creature. And then, as if in response, the Ji'bafofi let out a deafening screech, its legs unfolding as it descended toward the altar. They were out of time. Will they escape, or will the Ji'bafofi claim its sacrifice? Like, subscribe, and share for Part 4.